Good morning. Good morning. Adam Adams, on-scene coordinator, EPA Region 6. Welcome. Thanks for coming and sharing the message and getting it out to the community. We know that there's continued concern, and we're glad that we can share this information, and we're doing everything we can to get this thing cleaned up as quickly and as efficiently as we can in coordination with all our stakeholders and state, local, county, and other federal agencies. Progress keeps continuing to move forward. On the site, it becomes more stable and more secure every day. The tank situation is in a much better place today than it was yesterday, just like it was the day before that. Resources have not decreased across the board. There's been no reduction in effort on any aspect of the response effort. On the water operations side, it's ramped up as well. Every day we got some more resources to broaden our scope and our strategy and cover more area and recover this stuff as quickly as we can and return it back to the community. On the community air monitoring side, we continue to have the ground troops downwind. Currently the winds are out of the southeast, and we're lucky that's going to stay that way for the next few days. It kind of helps the response action be consistent and not have to change based on the winds pushing the oil and the product in a different direction. So that's a very good thing for us. If the winds do change, we get a forecast and we move our ground air monitoring resources to the projected location so that we're there in advance of the wind shift. In case we do get some air emissions, we're there ahead of time and we can monitor any change in the air quality. EPA continues to have the TAGA bus, the Trace Atmospheric Gas Analyzer, monitors continuously. It's been in the community downwind every day since we got it here. I believe it was last Thursday, I believe. EPA continues to have the Aspect aircraft. It flies overhead over the site and downwind over the ship channel and monitoring. In the last 24 hours, there's been no air monitoring results above 1 part per million benzene that warranted an alert notification to the stakeholders and to the local government to make the decision of an action, shelter in place, evacuation that needs to be taken. So that's a very good thing. That means we're doing our job and we're protecting the public and the community and the environment. Progress continues to move forward. We have approximately 1,000 personnel working on this response. Booms, we've increased the boom coverage in the ship channel. We're roughly about 77,000 feet of boom, containment boom, protecting sensitive areas and protecting the flow of oil outside of the impact area. So that's a good thing. We still have about 2,600 feet of ocean boom. That's 67-inch containment boom over our target, one of our target areas, Tucker Bayou. That keeps all that product that's in Tucker Bayou contained and from getting out into the ship channel. So that's been successful. We appreciate the continued communications with our counterparts and the teamwork. It's been successful and we're moving forward every day.
Brevemente, lo que decía el señor Adam Adams de la Agencia de Protección Ambiental. Las operaciones acuáticas continúan realizándose de manera normal y de acuerdo a lo esperado porque el objetivo es limpiar el área lo más pronto posible. Hay casi 1,000 personas trabajando en la zona. En ningún momento ha disminuido el número de efectivos, de individuos que están trabajando en este operativo. No ha habido ningún tipo de reducción en los recursos en tierra. Hay 77,000 pies de boom desplegados en la zona para contener el combustible que se ha vertido en la zona del canal y en todas las rutas de agua. No se han detectado ninguna lecturas de partículas que sean peligrosas, ninguna lectura que sea de o más de una partícula por millar, así que no hay elementos, no hay información que indique la necesidad de establecer algún tipo de aviso o alerta a la población. No hay lecturas superiores a una partícula por millón. El agua es seguro beber el agua, es seguro el consumo del agua, no hay ningún problema detectado con el agua hasta este momento.
Good morning, I'm Captain Kevin Odett, Coast Guard Incident Commander. The Houston Ship Channel remains open for daylight transits only. The Coast Guard continues to coordinate vessel movements with the Houston pilots. Tuesday, we had 11 ships move through the impacted area. That's 25% of the vessel traffic that moves through that area typically. Yesterday, they moved 15 ships through the impacted area, and that's approximately 35% of the typical traffic that moves through that area. Of those, we also had 102 tows and barges that moved through the impacted area. Of those, 1 ship and 3 towboats and barges required decontamination. So yesterday, as was mentioned, the wind shifted, and as that wind shifted, along with the currents and tides, some pockets of oil were able to escape some of the boom. So yesterday we had to shift some boom and also reassign some skimming vessels in order to recover and begin recovery of that oil. That oil moved west towards Beltway Bridge, but is expected to stay within Beltway Bridge and Lynchburg Ferry. Also, last night we were able to recover 4,100 barrels of oil for a total of 11,900 barrels of oil recovered yesterday. We continue to attack the oil recovery operations at numerous locations. Obviously, the primary location is Tucker's Bayou, but we also have recovery operations going on in Jacinto Port, Carpenter's Bayou, as well as Old River. Thank you.
Las operaciones del día de ayer lograron movilizar a 15 barcos, según lo que dice el capitán Kevin Odett de la Guardia Costera. El viento que hubo ayer provocó que una parte del producto se saliera del boom, es decir, de las áreas que están conteniendo el producto, pero la Guardia Costera ha instalado nuevos trozos de boom para contener ese petróleo, ese combustible que se salió de la zona. 4,100 barriles fueron recuperados ayer de la zona del canal. Hay 15 navíos que se movieron el miércoles y 11 que se movieron el martes.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming. My name is Anthony Buck. I'm with Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, Emergency Management. TCQ crews continue to work around the clock, provide real-time data to the Unified Command and local government officials. We're also working in the Unified Command as well. Our teams and contractors continue to comb in the area with handheld monitors and taking water samples around the ship channel and Galveston Bay. We're also working with fire safety specialists as well to make sure that tanks are emptied properly and materials are handled safely. Thus far, TCQ surface water quality staff are not finding any cause for concern in regards to this incident with any of the samples we have taken. Again, there are no drinking water intakes in the affected area. Airborne benzene levels around the site remain low, and TCQ readings on Monday and early this morning show levels well below areas of concern. We're also overseeing the cleanup, and agency regional staff are reviewing the ITC waste plan. We will continue to post information on air monitoring and water quality as it becomes available, and all of this is posted on our website, and we've also set up a separate ITC fire response page. So that's off of TCQ main webpage, tcq.texas.gov. Thank you.
TCEQ continúa trabajando de manera conjunta y en equipo 24 horas con todas las otras agencias que están contribuyendo con este operativo. Se está supervisando el transporte del producto de manera segura de la zona de los tanques a otra de las áreas para que esté el producto seguro, y las lecturas que han tomado la agencia de TCEQ, la agencia de protección, están siendo por debajo de los niveles normales.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brent Weber of ITC and Incident Command. Progress continues to be steady. We started transferring tank 80-13 yesterday. We continue to recover product from the affected tank farm. We worked on remediating the ditches, and we continue to support the EPA and U.S. Coast Guard's efforts to remediate our waterways. Today, our focus is to finish the 80-13 transfer and then begin product removal from tanks 80-2 and 80-3. We will continue to recover product from the affected tank farm area, remediate the ditches, and continue to support the EPA and the U.S. Coast Guard on our waterways remediation. And as Adam said and Captain Odit, we continue to bring in additional resources for those efforts. And once again, I'll stress, we aimed and strive to do all of these objectives without impacting our community and without impacting the responders involved. Thank you.
Brent Weber, el comandante de este operativo, Incident Commander, el jefe de este operativo, ha dicho que la respuesta que ha tenido la empresa sigue siendo proactiva para la solución de este incidente. Se completó ayer la transferencia del producto que estaba dentro del tanque 80-13 y actualmente, el día de hoy, está el proceso de transferencia del producto en el tanque 80-2 y 80-3. Esa es una de las prioridades para el día de hoy. Recuperar el material que se encuentra en la zona de los patios con todos los operativos que se han realizado, que quedó por ahí afuera de los tanques, y a la reparación de las zonas de las zanjas y que tuvieron algún tipo de lesión con este incendio. Se están apoyando también los trabajos que están realizando cada una de las agencias involucradas en este operativo.
Questions, and I'm going to actually start on the left side today, if I can. Kevin.
Okay, Kevin Crowley from Bloomberg News. Coast Guard, a question for the Coast Guard. Do you have a best guess as to when the shipping channel will be open as usual?
I can't put a time frame on when it will be opened at this time.
What's going on with the Santa Ana Bayou Marsh? I know there are more elevated concerns there just because of the environmental layout, but is that contaminated at this point, and is it broaching on the area?
That whole area has hard boom that has been deployed. It's identified in our area contingency plan as a environmentally sensitive area. So early on during this incident, hard boom was placed there in order to protect it. So we continue to assess it and evaluate it. I understand that there is some oil along there, but I'm not aware that it's impacted at this time.
What does that mean? Like it hasn't crossed into the area?
I'm not aware of it crossing into the area. The hard boom is in place.
Yes, ma'am.
Just to get an estimate of ship traffic today, you said it went from 25 to 35%. What are you estimating today, and which vessels are being prioritized?
So the Coast Guard works with industry, with our port coordination team, in order to prioritize vessels. And they then work with the Houston pilots, and we decide which vessels will move first. So yesterday we were able to move 15 vessels. Today we've implemented additional vessel inspection teams. So every vessel that transits through the impacted area has to be visually inspected. So we've actually increased those numbers. So we anticipate the number going up in order to increase the throughput.
And which vessels are being prioritized?
All the vessels are being prioritized, so we work with industry to identify those that have the most critical need. And once they identify those vessels, then they are coordinated with the Houston pilots in the order that they proceed.
Yes.
Yesterday, you all provided an update on the impact of wildlife in the area. Are there any changes to that?
I believe it was an update on the wildlife. So the update from yesterday, one deceased frog was observed in the impact area. One deceased small bird, it may have been a swallow or a sparrow, in the impact area. The wildlife response team teaming with the Texas Parks and Wildlife are recovering those and determining the potential cause for that. One larger bird, it's called a cormorant, was observed in the impact area. It was rescued by the wildlife response group and has entered rehabilitation. That team was on site yesterday after it was activated, and they've already begun that activity. No additional fish beyond yesterday's report. So previously, yesterday's report, there was a fish consumption advisory in place before the incident, and it was amended in the last 24 hours by the Texas Department of State Health Services to focus on this incident and the potential for volatile organic compounds potentially released from this incident. No other advisory amendments have been made for fish consumption. Since, I believe, 2013, it's been advised from the Texas Department of State Health Services to not consume any fish from the Houston Ship Channel.
Mr. Weber, which the tanks that burned, specifically the ones holding the pie gas, is that pie gas owned by another company and we were just holding it for them to ship it to them? And what is the name of that company?
ITC does not own any product. We are strictly a storage terminal, and I cannot divulge the name of the company. Yeah.
Some of those product contain remains left to be offloaded from damaged tanks into secure tanks. What products are we talking about in volume as well?
Yeah, so the remaining products that are still in the tank are gasoline blend stocks and base oil. All the pie gas has been transferred out of the tank farm. For an estimated number, I would probably say you're talking around 70,000 barrels total, but the majority of that is base oil, which is not a priority as of today. It will become a priority, but the priority now is the gasoline blend stocks.
The base oil and the gasoline blend stocks, which has the greater potential when they both immediately have potential for environmental impacts?
They all have potential for environmental impact. From an air emission, the gas blend stock tanks have a greater potential.
Let me come over here, please. Let me come this way, please. Thank you.
You were mentioning that there's over 1,000 workers out here. What's the price tag on this? Do we have a ballpark estimate of the price tag on this?
No.
We're just focused on getting the response completed. We're not worried about resources. My CEO has made every resource available to me, and we're just focused on completing the effort.
Yes.
Yeah, the gas blend tanks that you're trying to start today, what are the components of those? Is there a potential for benzene emissions or other emissions?
Gas blend stock is a pretty generic term, and it varies by the customer, but the base component in the gas blend stock is naphtha. Yeah.
Just some questions around the putting the fire out. How much foam was used, and of that, how much was on site at the time, and how much had to be brought in separately from the third party?
Can you?
Foam.
How much was on site and how much was brought in? I can tell you this. I don't have the specific numbers, but I can tell you this. At no time were we low on foam. And we continued throughout the firefighting process to bring in all of the foam that we needed to fight the fire, to get the fire out, and continue to foam the tank farm area.
Did you rely on shipping foam in from the third parties? Did you have enough on your own?
For the entire event, we brought in a lot of foam from third-party resources. Yeah.
This is for you. Just in terms of getting everything pumped out and cleaning, just like the ITC site, do you have a timeline for that? Do you know about how much longer it's going to take for you guys to get those 70,000 barrels out of there and whatever else is next?
I'm not going to be able to give you a timeline because the dynamics of the tank farm change every day. The safety aspects of the tank farm change every day. We prioritize safety for the responders first, and then the product removal. So I would prefer not to give you a timeline right now.
Forgive me if this has already been answered in a previous press conference, but have you gotten to the point yet where you can determine what caused this to start with? Have you been able to get into any sort of preliminary investigation as to the cause?
We have not. We've had initial discussions with governmental agencies about making sure we restore that area from an evidence preservation standpoint, but we have not been able to get close enough to that tank.
How long do you think it would take to figure that out? How long?
I'm not an investigator, so you would probably have to talk to one of the governmental agencies for that answer.
So right now there's 141 ships at Anchorage. Not all of those ships will be coming up to the upper portion of the Houston Ship Channel. I heard this morning from the Houston pilots that they have 55 inbound ships awaiting orders to facilities that are above or in the impacted area, and I believe, and there are 19 that are ready to take orders to go outbound.
Okay, we have a few minutes left. A couple more questions.
So,
I was going to say, Jeff.
yeah, so looking forward then, what's going to happen once you just say, okay, we're through with the disaster, the investigation has to take over? Is that going to be the state looking into this? What's going to happen as far as who goes forward and comes in and starts the investigation into sort of what went wrong?
There are multiple governmental agencies involved. As you can imagine, Harris County Fire Marshal is going to be involved, CSB is involved, and OSHA involved, along with, I'm sure, the TCQ and EPA will be doing their own investigations as well. We will cooperate in every way we can with all those agencies to make sure we have a successful investigation.
Can you reiterate the numbers of the recovered oil? You said it earlier, I just didn't.
Sure. Last night there were 4,100 barrels of oil recovered, and yesterday in total, including last night's numbers, there were 11,900 barrels recovered.
Okay, I'll take a final question here from you.
So yesterday, the CEO released an apology to the community. We've had tours and people have given those communities critical and factors of the 10 days. Is there a response as to why it took that long?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. My CEO has been here from the beginning of this incident, and his focus is recovering the response effort, the remediation effort, and to make sure that ITC, along with all of our governmental agency partners, are successful and see this through to the completion. I know my CEO. I know his character. I can assure you that he's sincere, he's genuine, and when he speaks from the heart. I'm proud to work for Mr. Netlin, and I'm proud that he's my CEO.